Donald Trump's ratings are absolutely in the garbage. If his approval rating starts dragging anymore, the Republicans are going to start discriminating against it.
That's just what Rush Limbaugh said.
Oh.
Even the demons over on Fox News are having a hard time justifying the economic collapse that Trump seems to be manufacturing.
This is a White House that came in trying to get federal workers to retire by the hundreds of thousands, but it's tough to make the argument that you should retire if your retirement accounts are getting throttled, which is what is happening right now.
Oof, that's tough coming from Peter Doocy, one of Fox News' more far-right reporters. And that's not even the first time he's calling out the White House. It looks like the cracks are starting to show in the Republican base, which may explain why Trump's approval ratings are falling through the roof. I've got all of that for you and more in just a second, but if you're enjoying the video, make sure to like the video and double check that you're subscribed. The fact that the markets are crashing under Donald Trump's leadership is absolutely undeniable at this point. Today marks the third straight week that the Dow Industrial Average has started trending downward, and there's no denying that this trend is due to Donald Trump's new taxes. Despite the White House trying their best to wiggle their way out of this, either denying that it's happening or blaming Biden, there's no running from reality. Here's another example of the far-right Peter Doocy slamming the press secretary Caroline Leavitt about how normal people's retirement accounts are getting absolutely gutted.
Dow dropping and dropping and dropping is a period of transition. You're sure nobody here at the White House shorted the Dow?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But is there any concern here that it's going to be harder to ask certain federal workers to retire if they look at their retirement accounts and they're getting robbed every day?
Well, I'm glad you brought up workers, because that's exactly who President Trump is looking out for with his America First trade policy and his America First economic agenda. And if you look at, there's great indication to be optimistic about where the economy stands. And the American people, investors, CEOs, small business owners, but most importantly workers, should bet on President Trump, because his tariff policies, what he envisions is reciprocity, fair trade practices where American workers are put first and are no longer ripped off by foreign countries all over this.
Right, American workers, like Elon Musk. She doesn't really mean anybody else, because the cost of goods and services are going to go up for everybody. Let's say I work at the steel plant and I benefit from these tariffs, I'm still going to have to pay for everything else in my life, which is going to go up. So these tariffs aren't exactly a massive benefit to really anybody. The only American business that the White House is concerned with is Elon Musk's, as Trump cheapens the White House and turns it into a used car lot. But here comes Steve Doocy, again, the far-right reporter from Fox News, trying to point out how ridiculous it is to try to sell cars to Americans when the economy is crashing.
President Trump buying a new car, while there are some folks who will see this clip at home and they are struggling with their retirement accounts down at the moment, uncertainty about work ahead.
Well, I think they're going to do great. I think our country had to do this. We had to go and do this. They've taken away, other countries have taken away our business. They've taken away our jobs. I did it initially very strongly against, as you know, China and some others in the first term. And it was a very successful term. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country.
And this is surprising coming from Fox News, because generally the media has been very light when it comes to pushing back on Trump. For whatever reason, they're treating him like a baby with a temper problem, being very careful not to set him off and accuse him of crashing the market, when we all know it's Trump's new taxes in the form of tariffs that are causing all of this turmoil. When he finally is asked about the state of the economy, he says the most insane thing ever and starts claiming it's actually a good thing that the economy is crashing. What a winning strategy, Donald. Keep running with that narrative.
President Trump, what's your thought about why the markets are so spooked? Do you think they don't like the tariffs, or do they not like the uncertainty with some of the changes and the carve-outs?
Well, a lot of them are globalist countries and companies that won't be doing as well because we're taking back things that have been taken from us many years ago. We've been treated very unfairly as a country. We protect everybody. We do everything for all these countries. And a lot of these are globalist in nature. You know, they have, if you're outside of the United States, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. We just weren't treated right. We were ripped off as a country. I've been saying it for a long time. And I did it to a certain extent in the first administration, but with COVID coming in, we had to focus on that toward the end. But we had the greatest economy in history.
He's scaring away the spooky globalists who have actually been falsely propping up our economy for the last 4 years. This stick your head in the sand and act like it's not happening strategy is absolutely going to be the death of the MAGA movement, and the cracks are already starting to show. I firmly believe that most Americans are not going to be willing to give up their economic security in order to please Donald Trump's childish whims. And unfortunately for all of us, things are going to get harder. Why Trump's rapidly changing economic policies are raising stagflation alarms. It could be the worst of both worlds. Consumers get hit with higher costs alongside declining employment and wages. Here's another one from USA Today. Trump promised a boom, now he's bracing Americans for economic turbulence. And how exactly is he bracing Americans? Well, the same way he invented the term fake news to brace Americans for his illegal actions. Now he's saying it was a fake economy.
So, Mr. President, when you look at the market selling off, that didn't concern you, and
Nope,
where do you see it
doesn't
going?
concern me. I think some people are going to make great deals by buying stocks and bonds and all the things they're buying. I think we're going to have an economy that's a real economy, not a fake economy. It was a fake economy. They were putting in all government jobs. You see what happened last month? We had more real jobs, and government jobs are way down. That's going to continue.
And refusing to rule out a recession while going on tangents on Truth Social is not exactly reassuring to the American people, nor is it to investors. And folks, that's not just my opinion and the opinion of people around me, but it's official. Trump's approval ratings dip amid concerns over the economy. President Trump's approval rating has dropped a few points since he first took office. The Emerson College polling survey released on Tuesday, just after the 50-day mark of Trump's second term, found 47% of voters approve of Trump's job performance and 45% disapprove. That's a drop of 49% approval and 41% disapproval at the beginning of his term, which means his approval has already dropped 2% and his disapproval has raised 4%. And we're not even 2 months into his presidency yet.
The latest poll from Emerson College shows that in his first 50 days, President Trump is at a near 50% approval rating.
Yeah, the national poll surveyed 1,000 voters nationwide between March 8th and 10th. The president sits at a 47% approval rate, while 45% of voters disapprove of the job he's doing. That's a 2-point increase since last week's national poll, as his approval rating has declined since the start of office. Also, a slight majority thinks President Trump's second term in office has been more of a success than a failure. That number sits at 51%. 49% say otherwise, thinking his term has been more of a failure.
Now you may be thinking 47%, that's not that bad. And it isn't compared to Trump's 41% from his first term, but it's still well below the 61% average for US presidents. And what's even more embarrassing than that, his current rival in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, has a stunning 85% approval. We can only hope that next cycle we get our own Claudia Sheinbaum. That is, if Trump doesn't manage to do too much damage in the meantime. I'm Tony Hinderman with Really American, and I'll catch you next time.